We are on every day from 1 until 4 o'clock. And then after 4 o'clock, John Kobylt Show on Demand. That's the podcast. And that gets released, a little after 4. It's the same as the radio show. You get to listen to whatever you missed. And let's get right into it. I found out some of this while I was having lunch, and it greatly upset my lunchtime. You're not going to believe any of this if you're a regular listener to the show. Gavin Newsom, his approval rating is shooting skyward. This is going to be hard for many of you to stomach, considering nothing has changed. Everything's gotten worse in the 7 years that he's been the governor of California. And it's his policies specifically that have made it worse. And we know the whole list, don't we? We have the highest taxes in the state, gas taxes, sales taxes, income taxes, business taxes, our gasoline price. What did I see in Oklahoma? They're selling gas for $2.36 a gallon. Our average is $4.46. But get this. There's a guy, and he finally he sent me a photo with his location. He had sent this the other day. His name is John. He's in the Denver, Colorado area. He took photos to prove this. He's buying gas for $1.85. $1.85 near Denver, Colorado. And we're at almost $4.50 average here in California, $5 in some counties. So we know that. We know we've got the highest unemployment rate. We've got the highest poverty rate. We've got the highest inflation rate. We got the highest cost of living. I can go on and on and on. Well, would you believe that Gavin Newsom's approval rating in the state of California, according to the Public Policy Institute, is now at 54%?
What happened?
Exactly. What the hell is going on? I feel like we are trapped inside a cult. I always figure, you hear about these cults, right? Maybe they're out in the desert and they have their compounds and they have security fencing around the compound and cement walls on the inside, and it's really dark and everybody's scared and everybody bought into the charismatic leader. And you're sitting there and thinking, am I the only one who sees what's going on here? Am I the only one? I mean, the rest of them in this joint, they're all lined up to have sex with the guru. But I know this was a mistake. I never should have joined the cult, but I'm trapped. I'm inside the wall, inside the security fence. I know they have armed guards here. I know I can't escape. That's what this feels like in California. We're inside the cement building. Maybe it's underground in a bunker. We can't see daylight. We got the security fence. We got the watchtowers. They'll tell you you're allowed to leave, but just try. And so not only is Newsom at 54%, get this, the California legislature is at 51%. 51. More than half the people in California approve of the legislature. Now, these numbers were much lower just a few months ago. Nothing's changed in the state, obviously, right? Nothing is better. We still have 180,000 homeless people in the street. But what changed was that Newsom decided to focus his campaign on Trump to get California more Democratic congressional seats, which led to Prop 50. And you know that story. So now we're going to end up with over 90% Democratic seats in Congress by the next election cycle in 2026. So he was relentlessly hammering on Trump, and all the advertising was against Trump. And because Newsom is against Trump, now he's got majority support here. So you have all these people in California, and we all live amongst them. Maybe you're one of them, who decided that California is in a much better place than a few months ago, that Gavin Newsom is a much better governor, that the legislature is a much better legislative body because Newsom spends all day and night ripping on Trump. Now, it is like some kind of mass hysteria here, because most of the problems in California, the ones you really care about, have zero to do with Trump and zero to do with Joe Biden, for that matter, or any president. All the issues here that we talk about every day are all self-inflicted issues. All right, the extra $2 a gallon we're paying in gas, that's on the governor and the legislature. The homeless people, 180,000 of them, that's on the governor and the legislature. We've got a big budget deficit approaching $20 billion. We've got the most illegal aliens, and we're giving the illegal aliens free health care all their lives now. In fact, we have a $20 billion budget deficit, and we spend $35 billion a year on illegal aliens. And that is entirely made up. That issue's invented, really, by the last two governors, Brown and Gavin Newsom, and the California legislature, which has been 2/3 Democratic for many years now. Now, most of the people I talk to, and I have friends of all political beliefs, and some who don't care at all about politics. And it's not so much caring about the inner workings, the geeky stuff about politics. It's just about the state of California. Everybody I know that I talk to is upset with, crime issues in the streets and the homeless issues in the streets and the taxes and the high rent and the high mortgages. I mean, we have the most expensive mortgage. Well, we have the costliest real estate in the country, the costliest rent in the country. And much of that is because of government policies. So they're upset about all these issues, A, B, C, D, all the way to Z. They know the government has a lot to do with it. But when you ask them if they approve of Newsom of the legislature, more than half say, oh, yeah. Because many of them, their heads are spinning over Trump. Trump's approval rating now is, in California, is 25%. 25%. So apparently all the problems we have here are his fault because Newsom says so. Congress's approval rating is 18%. Now, I am no fan of Congress, but very few of the issues, again, in California are due to the U.S. Congress. We can debate Trump 25 different ways. If you've got 70,000 homeless people in the streets here in L.A. County, that is because of the policies of Karen Bass, the L.A. County supervisors, and Gavin Newsom. Who else would it be? It's got to be them. If you have the highest gas prices, the highest electricity prices, that's entirely due to the policies of Gavin Newsom and the Democratic legislature. Who else would it be? We've got 36 states selling gas for less than $3 a gallon. $2.95 is the national average. Electricity here is double what it is across the other states. Double. Now, that's a significant issue when you want to debate the cost of living. We're short on housing. Well, gee, if you've got an extra 5 million people here illegally, you think that takes up some housing, some land? Not to mention all the wacky zoning laws that they've had to prevent developers from building new homes. Again, it's all self-inflicted. So there's no logic here. There's no rational thinking at all. It is a cult. It is crazy land.